How many of you are from higher education? Wow, quite a few hands, over half of the room. That's good. So I wasn't sure who all I was talking to, but I'm going to talk about higher education and what we're doing within the University of Washington related to video accessibility. And so it's good to see so many of you here from higher ed. So the longer title of my session is Able Player, YTCA, and Video Accessibility at the University of Washington. So I do want to talk a little bit about some of the tools that we've created, Able Player and YTCA, to support our captioning efforts. But mainly I want to talk about just sort of what it's like at the University of Washington and what we're doing in the video accessibility space. So I was impressed that the Yahoo Oath has 100% of everything that they're producing captioned. That really is phenomenal. We're not there, but we have a lot of videos. On YouTube, we've got 57 known UW-affiliated YouTube channels. I suspect there are more out there that we're not aware of, but those are the ones that we are aware of. And they have over 7,000 videos combined, nearly 2,500 hours of programming, at least 18 of those videos with over 100,000 views. So that's not many that are, that have gone viral or are very popular videos. And we actually would love to caption all of those. But if we were to do that, at assuming $2 a minute, which is roughly what you can get through 3Play, maybe a little bit less than that. But we'd be looking at $300,000, which is a little bit difficult to get out of our administration just for the YouTube videos, and that doesn't include videos that are hosted elsewhere. And if we were to audio describe all of that, that is a bit more expensive, so that's $10 a minute, a little bit less than that through 3Play, but roughly, ballpark, $10 a minute. So that'd be $1.5 million to describe all of our YouTube videos. So that's just YouTube. We also use Panopto for lecture capture. And there, these are somewhat dated numbers, but, and it's only gotten bigger. 58,370 videos in the system, and close to 10,000 of those were viewed in fall 2016. That's over 6 million minutes. And so if you do that math, it would cost $12 million to caption those videos and $60 million to describe all of those videos. Now most of this lecture capture, so if the lecturer is describing whatever is happening visually as they write on the whiteboard or do demonstrations or whatever, then there's probably not a need for description for a lot of those videos. And so that's kind of part of our description efforts, is identifying what needs to happen, which videos need to be described and which ones really don't. But anyway, this is a tall task. Just if we focus on YouTube and Panopto, and again, we've got other places where video is stored and hosted, but just on those two channels, we're talking about daunting numbers and money that isn't just going to flow to us for this purpose. So is this an undue burden? What do y'all think? How many say yes, that's an undue burden to caption and describe all of that? Nobody's gonna come to bat for me. And I would have to agree. I can't really speak, as a legal authority for the University of Washington. And I hope this isn't being recorded, but I say no, it's not really an undue burden. Those are big numbers, but why would we make, and why I say that is that the cost of producing a video, if you sort of think of it in that context, my department has produced a number of videos over the years, and they tend to be 10-minute sort of documentary style varieties where we hire our internal video production team, which includes a camera crew and an editor, and they produce 10-minute videos for us, and they tend to run about $10,000. And so if you consider that, and you consider the cost to caption that video, then you're looking at about 0.2% of the production cost. And yeah, from my perspective, it's not finished until you've captioned it. That's just part of the production expense. If we add audio description, I'm sure that costs a little bit more, but that's 1% of the overall production cost. So in that context, it really is not burdensome at all. It's a very tiny fraction of the percent of making a video accessible, or of the total video cost. And so, why would you make a video at all if you didn't want people to access it? We want people to access it, and so we do everything we can to make sure that that communication happens. So, how many of you are coders or know HTML? Okay, not a whole lot. About 5 or 6 hands go up. Well, I'm gonna have a little bit of code in the next few slides, but it won't be painful, I promise. This is the video tag in HTML5, and in its simplest form, it can just be video and then a source attribute, which points to the source file for the video. But what happens if you just have video source equals something on a web page? You have exactly this. You've got a video, and that's what's showing up here now is a video with a person's face. And what else? What is this video about? Nobody knows because it's not playing, right? Because this tag in and of itself doesn't even allow you to play the video. It puts the video on the page, but in order to play it, you have to have a controls attribute, which puts a controller on the page as well. Otherwise, you've got a video with no controller. So if we add that, then we've got a video, we've got a controller. Now you want people to play it, and so people can play it, but what is this person saying? We can't hear anything. If we were to play it and we didn't have sound, we still couldn't hear anything. So of course we want people to hear it. Therefore, we add audio and we add captions, and then everybody has access to what the person is saying. But we don't just want to communicate, what the person is saying. That's certainly an important part of that. And this person is saying accessibility becomes a very important value at the university. We know that he's saying that because of the caption. But who is this guy? And why does it matter that he's saying that? So if we were to watch this video and we had captions, then we would know there's actually, in this video, there are a bunch of people who are saying similar things, very sort of grand statements about why accessibility is important. But we don't know who any of these people are unless there's an on-screen graphic that identifies who the speakers are. In this case, this is Michael Young. He is identified here as president of the University of Washington. So then that statement that he made carries a little bit more weight, than if it was somebody else, anybody lower than the president. So, but if we can't see the video, if we're just listening, and he doesn't identify himself as the president, then somebody who can't see also needs access to that. So providing access to who this person is involves putting the graphic on the screen that identifies the speaker, but it also involves adding description. And so we've got in HTML5, we now have the track tag. And so we can add to any video, we can add track, and that's how you add captions. Track kind equals captions, adds captions to an HTML5 video. Kind equals descriptions, adds descriptions, audio descriptions in a text-based format, really the same format that captions are added, adds both of those to the video. And so what we've created at the University of Washington, because browsers didn't have full support and still don't have full support for all of the things that are possible with HTML5 in terms of video accessibility, we created our own media player that supports all of that. And so this markup right here with a caption track and a description track. We could also have a chapters track that breaks the video into different sections and adds some structure to the video. And that isn't all supported by browsers, but it is supported by AblePlayer. And so AblePlayer is what we created to make all of that possible and to fully support what HTML5 makes possible in the specification. So this is a look at a kind of a busy AblePlayer screen, but you can, just to give you an idea of what is possible, this is that same video. It takes the chapters, the descriptions, and the captions, combines them automatically into an interactive transcript, and so that's what is pictured on the right. And that's in a pop-up window that can be moved around or resized. And the text as it's spoken is highlighted, and then the user can also click anywhere within the transcript in order to start playing the video at that point. So this is one of the exciting things about accessible video is just the level of interactivity that becomes possible with captions and descriptions and chapters. We also have multiple languages supported, so we've got a bunch of subtitles. Yes?
So we might get to this, so feel free to go on if you will. But is this what you're showing here? Is this like a companion to YouTube? Would you use this instead of YouTube? Like, how would you incorporate it into use? Or is this like, me personally, I could watch it?
And I will repeat the question, yep. And if I heard it, I'm not sure that I heard it correctly, but you're wondering sort of how you use this, where the videos are and all of that. You can point to videos anywhere, but it actually does work as a YouTube player. So you can point to YouTube. There's particular tags that you can use as you're setting up your AblePlayer instance that will target YouTube videos and allow you to play them in this accessible wrapper. So we've got subtitles, we've got different languages that we can play the captions or the subtitles in. And because English is actually a second language for a lot of people who are deaf or hard of hearing, we also support synchronized sign language. And so this is an example of a video that we have a signer who has signed along with the video, and we've edited that so that it's perfectly in sync. And you can toggle all of these features on and off through buttons on the controller. So you can turn the description on and off, you can turn the sign language on and off, you can turn the transcript on and off. So basically, we created videos because we want people to access them. And this is our effort to make sure that everybody can access them. So AblePlayer is free, it's open source. We actually now have a lot of people contributing to it. I maintain it and did most of the work up front, but now lots of other people are helping out with that. So it's up on GitHub. ableplayer.github.io/AblePlayer will get you access to AblePlayer. And I'll keep that up as I see some people taking photos of the slide. So how do we at the UW do accessible video? First of all, there are, like most institutions, there's a disability services role in all of this, and their role is separate from the role of my group. So we have a disability resources for students group that is providing reasonable accommodations to students with disabilities. And we have an Office of Disability Services, which is the employment and public side. So people, employees or visitors who need accommodations go through the ODS office as opposed to the DRS office. But both of those offices include as their responsibility captioning or audio description for individuals that request it. And they pay for that, that accommodation. Our role, I'm in the IT group. I'm in a group called Accessible Technology Services that is a department within IT. And our role is to try and make the infrastructure more accessible. So we're working campus-wide on all sorts of things related to accessibility, trying to help support purchasing accessible products, and teaching our web developers to build accessible websites and web applications, and teaching all content authors to create accessible documents. And with regard to video accessibility, we are just trying to build up more and more accessible video because it's great and it reaches more people and makes videos searchable and makes interactive transcripts possible and all of that. So we're really trying to push that, trying to push universal design and get more closer to 100%. We're nowhere near 100%, but we are growing in the number of videos that have been captioned, and we're starting to accelerate our efforts to get more videos described. That's the role then that we play within Accessible Technology Services. We have 2 people focused on that who are dedicated just to evangelizing, captioning, providing training, and providing support. And when they do evangelize, they spend a lot of time talking up the benefits, just trying to get people as excited about the benefits of accessible media as the rest of us are, and offering support. So once people figure out how to do it, then they get excited about it too, because it's really not that hard, and they sort of jump on the bandwagon. One of the things that we've done is trying to build community, and captioning parties is kind of an interesting way to do that, where we get people together and just caption together. Provide some food and some beverages, and pick a time, and 15, 20 people will show up just to have some fun captioning. And through that they learn a little bit, but there's that camaraderie associated with captioning stuff, and you can accomplish things, and feel productive, having a good time. So we also have IT accessibility liaisons, who are people out there in the trenches who otherwise we wouldn't have any connection necessarily to some of the academic departments that are out there, administrative units, even we're central IT, but the scope of our responsibility doesn't permeate the entire institution. We're highly decentralized, and everybody across the campus is kind of doing their own thing. But liaisons are individuals out there in the trenches who represent their group, and they come centrally to the table, and we provide just opportunities for them to get together and provide peer support and learn some things. And again, we hope to make that fun and give them reasons to connect and engage over accessibility. And it's voluntary, people sign on to do this, and we now have about 100 people from all over campus who have signed on to be an accessibility liaison. And so they pick up some things, and then they take it back out to their department, and try to make their department more accessible. We also provide resources. We have a website that provides detailed instructions on how to get your video captioned, or how to decide whether audio description is necessary, and if so, how to go about getting that done. And we create videos. Some of the videos that we create have to do with video accessibility, and so we've created 3 or 4 videos just over the last couple of years, specifically focusing on video accessibility and trying to help us evangelize that. And then we do have a central pot of funding. It's not nearly enough to caption all of our videos, but we view it as seed money. And there's a process by which people apply for this, and we are specifically looking for videos that are going to have a big impact and individuals that are going to become our evangelists and be out there and talking about the benefits of captioning. Yes?
Where did that seed money originate from? What department? Was it yours, or was it
The seed money question was, where does the seed money come from? It is IT, central IT funding, and so we were able to secure that within our own department. And initially it was a one-time only pot of funds, but we have been able to renew that for a second year, and so our hope is that it will continue to support our efforts. So a little bit about the captioning grant. It is a central pool of funding through IT. We actively spread the word through publications, talks, videos, user groups, and so forth. People submit an application form. It's ongoing. There's no deadline for that. And as we receive those, there's a committee that meets regularly as applications come in. They review those and meet to discuss. And ultimately, they're looking to make videos accessible that are highly visible, have a high impact, have multiple use across multiple divisions of courses or over time, and just generally are strategic and are going to help accelerate the state of accessibility. So we want to have videos that are going to have a high impact and that are going to be highly visible, that we can say, hey, look what they did, isn't that cool? Wouldn't you like to do that too? And we also encourage those individuals who receive the money to figure out how to do this on an ongoing basis. And we work actively with them to sort of get that in place. So the tools that we build, Able Player I've already talked about. Another tool is the YouTube Caption Auditor, YTCA. That's also on GitHub. It's at github.com/Terrell, my name, /YTCA. And that uses the YouTube Caption Auditor, uses the YouTube API to collect data about YouTube channels and their videos. And so you feed it a YouTube channel ID or a set of YouTube channel IDs, and it is then able to extract how many videos there are on that channel, how many seconds or minutes or hours of programming, how much of that is captioned. That's really kind of the key that we're looking for, but also traffic data. And so then we're able to take those results and filter them and sort them in a way that helps us to pursue our captioning strategy informed by data. And so if we want to just take, for example, the high traffic videos for a particular channel, then we can just look for those and we can see, okay, take the top 25% of videos based on views, and that's where we want to focus our captioning efforts, and then we can look and see, okay, well 50% of those are captioned and the other 50% are not, and then we'll just go down that list and start captioning the videos, or encouraging the owner of that channel to caption the videos that haven't been captioned yet. The other thing that we're using this for is creating a summary report of all 57 channels, and that it has been extremely helpful actually in allowing the campus community to look and see how they compare with peers. And there are some departments that have captioned 97% of their videos, and quite a few departments that have captioned 0% of their videos. And you don't want to be one of those zeros. Knowing that this is a report that everybody else can see, you would much rather look favorable compared to your peers. And that particularly is true now that more and more people are getting on board with this. The number of rows in that summary table that have 0% captioning is getting smaller and smaller and smaller. So definitely there's incentive through this report to beef up captioning efforts. And so we're hoping that that information can go a long way. So my final slide is just some URLs to share. The hub where we communicate all sorts of things related to technology accessibility. Targeted at our campus community, but also useful, I think, for people outside of our institution, is this uw.edu/accessibility. So you can check that out, and you can get from there to any of the other resources that we provide. In particular, there's a videos page within that site, and so if you go to accessibility/videos, then that's the page and some secondary pages that focus on our captioning and description efforts. We've been around for a long time, and we've created a number of videos over the years, and the Do It website is where you can get, you can see Able Player fully deployed and with a couple of videos that have sign language, and otherwise all videos have captions or audio descriptions, captions and audio descriptions. Quite a few videos have chapters. All videos are searchable. And so you can really see all of this kind of on display on at the Do It Videos website. So that's uw.edu/doit/videos. So any questions? Yes?
Do you have any videos on your website that are captioned? And if so, do you recommend taking them down?
Do we have videos that on our website that are not captioned? Is that what you said?
And are you feeling pressure to take those down?
As a university, we have a lot of videos that are not captioned. We don't feel pressure so much, although we do, as we're evangelizing, this whole idea of you wouldn't want to communicate, and why have it up there if you don't want people to know what's being said, right? That whole idea argues that if it really isn't important enough to caption, and spend that additional 0.1%, then maybe it's not that important and you should take it down. So that is part of our message. We don't have authority to take videos down, but that is part of our message. But our main focus is on getting the number and the percentage that are captioned up. And so that's really where our focus is, in evangelizing and trying to persuade. And our hope is that eventually we'll get closer to 100%. But meanwhile, we have processes in place where we can get video captioned or described very easily, and that does universally happen for anybody that needs it and that requests it. Yes?
University of Berkeley recently had to take down videos because they weren't captioned. Do you know anything about that? Why wouldn't the same apply then to your university?
Yeah, UC Berkeley did opt to take down videos that weren't captioned as opposed to caption them. And that, is anybody from Berkeley in the house that can speak to that decision? Do you care to speak to that?
I'm looking at my boss back there. I want to make sure I say that. In a nutshell, where it is, we have a lot of legacy course captions that we have running over 15 years. Pretty significant volume of video. It became the focus of the DOJ investigation that it's actually ongoing. So I'm going to return to my privilege. But yeah, no, we needed to do something. Financially, we were not in a position to do anything retroactively. The last thing is we have been publishing public content for a couple of years before the DOJ came, and we're hoping for a better resolution someday. But for now, we kind of think that's sort of safe harbor.
Yeah.
Well, if we
So-
didn't actually take it down, we just put it in authentication. So the campus has access to all these videos still, but the public does not.
So you've said more than I can probably repeat.
That's a wireless mic. Can you bring it to the next speaker, the next question?
Okay. But basically that is an ongoing DOJ case, and so there's kind of limits to how much they can say. But they had an enormous amount of video content the DOJ required that they caption everything or remove it, and so they have put things behind authentication, so they're no longer public-facing uncaptioned videos. And so your original question was, why isn't that true for everybody? And maybe it's that, knock on wood, we don't have a DOJ case. You know, at this point, it's part of, as I say, you know, it's part of our message as we reach out to our campus community that, you know, if you don't want people to access it, it's probably not that important. Take it down. Take down some of that legacy stuff that really isn't serving any purpose. But otherwise, let's do our best to caption everything, and let's continue to see growth over time, which we are seeing. And we're using YTCA to be able to measure that growth over time. Yes?
Can you bring your mic over?
Okay, here comes the mic. And this, in the interest of time, this will probably have to be the last question, and then I'll be around the rest of the day to answer any others.
Thank you. Hopefully this is a quick one. With your implementation of giving departments incentives to get their materials captioned, kind of pitting them against each other in a good way, do you get a lot of instructors coming to you for captioning purposes?
We've had, I'm afraid to speak. we have had a number of people who have captioned because of the YTCA report that they saw, and it wasn't instructors necessarily, but just whoever owns the YouTube channel saw that they were flatlining, and you know, their peers are captioning videos and they're not, and so that just helped to raise awareness that, oh, we should be captioning, and so they took it upon themselves to get videos captioned within their department. Generally, that's a staff person who manages the YouTube channel, but the videos, you know, are probably owned by faculty members, and so they're able to raise awareness within their department. So, I lied. One more question.
Do you have the same tool for Vimeo?
No, there is no VTCA yet. And I don't know, I haven't really looked at the Vimeo API to know whether we could get the same data from Vimeo, but that might be something we might look into that ourselves, or somebody else could, because we are using a lot more Vimeo video. So, great. Well, any other questions? I'll be around, so I'm happy to entertain those. Thanks.